Down here on the golf green this morning, and there is so many weeds coming up at the moment. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but since we've had a bit of rain this season and the temps are starting to bump up, clover is going absolutely nuts. I've got a bit of lamb's tongue, cudweed, but mostly clover around the place in the ryegrass. Like, it's gone absolutely nuts. So today we're gonna get some bow and arrow out and a little bit of liquid fertilizer and a little bit of a sticker as well to really help knock these weeds and clean it out super quick. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. I thought today would be a good day to cover weeds in your lawn because I've been getting a ton of emails about it at the moment and people asking, is it okay to apply herbicides now that we're in spring? 100%, you can apply herbicides any time of the year, especially something like bow and arrow, to get your broadleaf weeds out of your lawn. So this is some clover here, and this is the time of year it goes crazy because our soil temps are bumping up and we're starting to get a bit of moisture about and we're starting to look after our lawns again. So get on top of it when you see the weeds. This has probably only really started to show its head once the blossoms started coming out. And obviously it was there before I put my pre-emergent down, so none of this has been stopped. Anything else that tries to come up, my Spartan that I put out on the ryegrass surrounds will prevent all the past palm that's going to come up, any other weeds as well. Some may sneak through, sometimes it just does, or there may have been weeds that you didn't notice before that. But get your herbicide out now if you're seeing some weeds come up. So I have been getting a lot of questions about the product bow and arrow, and does it kill wintergrass, does it kill grassy weeds, will it touch those weeds that are quite nasty in your lawn? Unfortunately, it will not touch them at all. You have to look at something like Lonro. If you've got buffalo, cooch, zoysia or Kikuyu, not going to work on ryegrass and cool season grasses like this here because Lonro will kill those also. Whereas, you know, that's why we use the Lonro up on the Kikuyu up the top there to kill the ryegrass, which has done its job. It took about a month for it all to die out, but the Lonro did kill it all. So bow and arrow is really designed for your broadleaf weeds, not your grassy weeds. And be aware that it does take 7 to 14 days to really start to see an impact of the herbicide on the leaf. I'm saying that because I've had a lot of emails too recently saying about 3 or 4 days after people have applied, they haven't noticed any die-off. Well, it does take a little while for the product to become active in the weeds and start killing it. The warmer it is, the quicker it's going to do it. The colder it is, the longer it's going to take to kill the weeds. So you may see them turn up in the first day or two, but generally it takes that little bit longer. So we're going to make sure we don't water it in or get any rain on the area for about 4 to 8 hours, but I like to tell people wait 24 hours so that you really get a good knock on the weed itself. Leave your lawn a little bit longer too before you apply it, so don't mow for like 4 days beforehand, just so that the weeds are nice and big and you get a really nice kill on them, and don't mow for like 3 or 4 days afterwards. Also, it does mention that on the label, so keep an eye out for that. But if you can leave it 4 days either side, please do so. And also, don't get any water on there for 24 hours, just so you get the best results possible with the herbicides. Now, when using bow and arrow, make sure you stick to the application rate, so 50 ml per 100 square meters. Don't go above it, don't go below it. If you start going above it, like the weeds start to become a little bit resistant over time, the more you apply it. And don't go below it because, again, the weeds will become resistant and more product isn't going to help kill it more. We'll be completely honest with that. So make sure you stick to the label rates. I've had a lot of guys going under rate and wondering why it didn't kill the weeds. Unfortunately, because you went under rate. Had a few guys go over rate and found that it burnt their Kikuyu or it burnt their buffalo a little bit, the bow and arrow did. So you're gonna make sure you stick to the label rate so you get the least damage to your lawn. Now, it shouldn't damage your lawn. Sometimes Kikuyu can go a little bit of a funny color when you put bow and arrow out. If the lawn's a little bit stressed or if you've mowed it, that's one grass that if you do mow it close by, it can actually do a little bit of damage, because when the leaf gets cut, it leaves like the actual leaf itself a bit exposed, so the herbicide gets down to the leaf and burns the tips a little bit. So that is another reason why on the label they mention not to mow either side. It depends on the grass type and how it responds, but it won't kill it. It may just give a little bit of herbicide burn. So we're spraying it out today with a knapsack sprayer. I like to use 4 litres of water per 100 square meters. And then I like to put my product in on top of that. So 50 ml per 100 square meters of the bow and arrow, then 4 litres of water on top of that to get our even coverage across the area. Now I put some Pronto in there, which is my 24% nitrogen liquid fertilizer, just to really help boost the ryegrass a bit and also help it sort of thicken up and blend in to where the weeds were and help choke out the weeds in that area as well. So it'll actually help repair into those areas once the weeds have gone. And then I've also put some wet out in there, which is a sticker, which is going to help the herbicide stick to the leaf so that we get the best kill possible, because sometimes the beads of herbicide and water can run off, whereas if you use a sticker, it actually sticks to the plant and you're more likely to get a better kill instead of having to do a follow-up application like 21 days later. I also have a weed and feed bundle on the website, which is the same idea as using the Pronto that I'm using today. I'm just using the Pronto because I really want to give this a kick. But if you do apply liquid fertilizers with the herbicide, just make sure to spray it out within half an hour of mixing them up, because sometimes they can react after a little while and clog your sprayer up. You just got to always make sure and do a little jar test beforehand. So mix a little bit of each product together, put it in a jar and see if it goes either thick, coagulates or separates. And if it does that, don't apply those products together. I did a jar test with the Pronto, it's absolutely fine. Done it with Enhance in the past and it's fine, but I did find if I left it for like half an hour in the tank, it can start to react a little bit. So just be aware of that. But man, at least get yourself some wet out or a sticker or something similar whenever you're spraying herbicides, because it really does make a huge difference. Now, if you're not sure what weeds you're trying to kill, you're trying to identify weeds so you can get the correct herbicide, I do have a section on my website which does have a list of common broadleaf weeds and grassy weeds. So jump on there and you can see what herbicides will work with it. Just always double check the label to see if it's safe with your grass type. Otherwise, you can use something like Google Lens and actually take a picture of the weed and it will tell you what it is. Or you can even use something called Picture This. I use that app all the time. And I just go past the free trial and don't pay for it. Take photos of weeds and it will tell you, most of the time it gets it pretty correct. It will tell you what the weed is. So I'll actually take a photo of the clover now and let's see how well it works. So it's pretty good. It's sometimes a bit sketchy with grassy weeds if you can get a seed head with it, and that will really help you identify it well. Seed head's the best way to identify grassy weeds, and sometimes looking at the root system or how the rhizomes and stolons work on them. But yeah, technology nowadays is crazy, man. When I was an apprentice, I wish we had apps like that. It would have been so handy. So I'm going to apply this now. So I put my gloves on, make sure I get on my gum boots also, and I've got long sleeve or jumper on, long sleeve pants, just in case we get any spillage, leakage, spray drift. Got my glasses on also. You just got to make sure you're wearing the proper PPE and doing things right. Now, I haven't mowed this area for 4 days. I won't mow it until the start of next week. It's not growing a ton, so it won't be a problem. Well, until the liquid fertilizer kicks in, which it'll be pretty quick. Let's spray it out. So that's all done. Remember, don't water it in. Sometimes the weeds can be really mature and it may need a follow-up application about 3 weeks later. Say if you got really, really mature clover or even lamb's tongue, dandelion, all of those weeds, you're probably gonna need to do a follow-up spray if it's really, really mature. Most of the time you won't have to, but just be aware if it doesn't kill it the first time, it's gonna be normal if it's a mature weed. Thanks guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. There is now a 250mm bow and arrow on my website as well as the 500mm, and there's also a 10-litre Stadium product, which is the same actives, it's just in a larger size and a different trade name. So Stadium and bow and arrow. Now if you have something like ryegrass, fescue, Kikuyu, zoysia, cooch, you can also use dicamba. Dicamba M will also work. You just can't use it on buffalo and Queensland blue because it will basically kill it or burn it really bad, especially if you start using it regularly. But check those out on the website. The wet outs on there also, as well as the Pronto. I appreciate you guys' support so much. Hopefully you learned something from that video. I tried to answer as many frequently asked questions that I've been getting in emails recently, so hopefully helped you out. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.